Let's start. Q Jump, 2021, 2. Page 9 Number 1. My mother and I climbed a short ladder into the hayloft. We crawled to the far end under the sloping roof and buried ourselves beneath loose piles of hay. We lay motionless. Moments later we heard voices in German shouting, Wo sind die Juden? Where are the Jews? We froze in terror. My mother covered me with her body. We held our breaths. We heard one of the men stomp halfway up the ladder and fling open the trapdoor. Leaning in, he jabbed violently around in the straw with his bayonet. The tip was only inches away from us. I felt my life slipping away. Suddenly, he stopped. Shouting in anger that there was no one up there, he descended in fury to the barn. Cursing the Fedoro family, the men left. Fedoro. As their voices faded away, my mother's whisper broke the silence, Irisu, we are alive. Irisu, How fine is the line between life and death. Page 9 Number 2. We are about to embark on creating one of the most important habits of all. Gratitude. After conducting and reviewing hundreds of studies, the University of California, Berkeley, concluded that gratitude is one of the most reliable methods for increasing happiness and life satisfaction. It boosts feelings of optimism, joy, pleasure, and enthusiasm. It reduces anxiety and depression, strengthens the immune system, lowers blood pressure, reduces symptoms of illness, and makes us less bothered by aches and pains. It encourages us to exercise more and take better care of our health. Grateful people get more hours of sleep each night, spend less time awake before falling asleep, and feel more refreshed upon awakening. Gratitude makes people more resilient and helps them recover from traumatic events. Page 10 Number 3. If trees are weakened, it could be that they lose their conversational skills along with their ability to defend themselves. Otherwise, it's difficult to explain why insect pests specifically seek out trees whose health is already compromised. It's conceivable that to do this, insects listen to trees' urgent chemical warnings and then test trees that don't pass the message on by taking a bite out of their leaves or bark. A tree's silence could be because of a serious illness or, perhaps, the loss of its fungal network, which would leave the tree completely cut off from the latest news. The tree no longer registers approaching disaster, and the doors are open for the caterpillar and beetle buffet. Page 10 Number 4. Contemporary Western athletes speak in their own terms about time expansion. Tennis great Jimmy Connors has described transcendent occasions when his game rose to a level where he felt he'd entered a zone. Jimmy Connors. At these moments, he recalls, the ball would appear huge as it came over the net and seem suspended in slow motion. In this rarefied air, Connors felt he had all the time in the world to decide how, when, and where to hit the ball. Connors. In truth, of course, his seeming eternity lasted only a fraction of a second. 1-1. Basketball chatter is also laced with mystical-sounding references to getting into zones where time stands still. Players describe unexplainable occasions when everyone around them seems to move in slow motion. During these moments they report a feeling of being able to move around, between, and through their opponents at will. Page 11 Number 5. One word about data collection. After spending years being a scientist and working with scientists, one common element stands out for me. Scientists keep on their person a notebook that is used numerous times during the day to record interesting items. The researcher may come across some interesting data that may not seem directly connected to the study at the time, but he or she makes some notes about it anyway because that entry may come in handy in the future. Memory is viewed as an ephemeral thing, not to be trusted. Scientists' notebooks are a treasured and essential part of the scientific enterprise. In some cases they have been considered legal documents and used as such in courts of law. There is an ethical expectation that scientists record their data honestly. Many times, working with my mentor, biologist Skip Snow in the Everglades National Park Python project, I have seen Skip refer to previous entries when confronted with data that he thinks may provide a clue to a new line of investigation. Skip Snow Everglades, Skip. Researchers don't leave home without notebooks. Page 11 Number 6. Recognizing past accomplishments, important events, goals reached, awards, or other important events in the organization's history is important to employees. It is also a way to honor both your current and past employees who contributed to the accomplishment. It adds to the sense of identity that employees have concerning their place of employment. Employees do take pride in their place of employment and want to share in the accomplishments they have helped achieve. Celebrating the company or organization's milestones can help give employees the opportunity to express this pride and feel good about their roles in achieving these goals. Page 12 Number 7. When people's processing objectives do not bias the information to which they attend, goal-irrelevant factors may have an impact. One such factor may be the affective reactions that people happen to be experiencing at the time the information is received. A study by Bauer, Gilligan, and Monteiro is illustrative. Bauer, Gilligan, Monteiro. Participants under hypnosis were instructed to recall a past experience that made them feel either happy or sad and then to maintain these feelings after they were brought out of their hypnotic state. Then they read a passage about two persons that described both happy events and unhappy events that occurred to them. Finally, they recalled the information they had read. Participants who had been induced to feel happy recalled a greater proportion of positively valenced events, and a lower proportion of negatively valenced events, than did participants who were induced to feel sad. The end. Good job.